time ago when I first came for a 3-month stint, and I now have my 9th year anniversary. I fell in love with this place, but realized, along with others, the importance of the 2 gateways really to our communities, that being the city of Covington and the town of Clifton Forge. And I saw them as bookends, ways for people to identify where we were, where you entered our community, and the importance of that first impression as people came into the community being a very positive one. I was fortunate enough, I guess, to be in the room. I don't know that I came in 5 minutes late like John did, but because I was interested in the way my particular community, Clifton Forge, looked to newcomers, I volunteered to be a part of the corridor curb appeal effort. And I would have to tell you that it's the most fun group of the 5 or 6 that you'll hear from today. I think it's the group that has more smiles and more sense of well-being, because while we have challenges, they are small challenges, but they demonstrate, I think, what is a critical element to our community as a whole. And I'm going to get on a soapbox here and not necessarily follow the script, but I think our issue is that we're concentrating at the present time on our existing housing and the appearance of that housing as you enter our communities. And for those who love and enjoy rehabilitating older homes, I think we are an ideal place. And the cost of housing is very, very reasonable. I think people will see that in the near future, and hopefully will get on the ground floor. But we do need new and different types of housing in our community to attract those younger people that John is talking about, because they're like those businesses. They want something that's ready-made to move into. They don't want to spend time fixing up the way many of us have enjoyed it. But trying to follow some of the slides and let you know what we've done. I think we've made significant progress with limited resources. And what we need, and I'll kind of go to the last slide first, is we need more volunteers and we need more money. I think we have demonstrated an increased visibility over the 5 years that we've been working. I was so proud at our last cleanup. We had 40 volunteers. Wow, for about 2.5 hours. Our age group goes from probably 10 to 80. We have 80-year-olds who join us in cleanup, and we have 10-year-old Boy Scouts who volunteer their time. And we were blessed this last time with 13 young men from the boys' home. So we are beginning to attract more people, get more attention as to what we are doing, and we are providing, I think, recognition to those who are in fact taking the challenge to improve the appearance of their properties, whether they be business properties or residential properties. I think you will see on the slide some of the things that we have done with the limited resources that we have. Major issue for us is the amount of rental property that is in our community, and how to reach landlords and how to entice them to be participants in this effort. We have had a couple of situations where we were able to get a landlord to either donate the materials and we provided the volunteers to paint, or we agreed to paint the first floor if they would agree to paint the higher levels. We don't let our 80-year-olds and even our 10-year-olds to get on the ladder to do the second floors. But that is a major, major issue for us. As a result of the success of our On the Corridor Awards, where we give recognition, and we have one gentleman who has kept his sign in his yard for at least 3 years now, which say to us how important recognition is to the efforts that people make. We began in the town of Clifton Forge a couple years ago an Off the Corridor Awards program, where we also recognize homes and properties that have been improved that aren't on the corridors themselves, which is the major emphasis for our program. Are you doing the slides?
Yes, I am. Just tell me when.
Just, oh, okay.
You gotta kick me.
Punch it, okay. All right, in addition to what we've been doing as far as the appearance of the downtowns, where we do 2 cleanups each year and do paint projects, as well as removal of weeds and tall grass, and we now have to carry poison ivy treatment for us because we get into some really difficult situations. We have also been the beneficiary through a grant from the the Allegheny Foundation, some signage for the Highlands that begins with gateway signs as well as entrance signs into our communities. We lack signage within the town and the city and the Highlands itself to get visitors to the various beautiful activities that we have. And having worked in a number of other communities in Virginia, I know that visitors often do not travel beyond locations that they can actually see or where there are good directions in order to locate. They don't want to get lost in a community, and I don't blame them, having been lost sometimes in communities, even with that little man or woman that's in my phone. Sometimes they're not, but so good. So additional signage certainly could be helpful to us in order to, again, make sure that people see all of our community and not just the community that is on the major streets heading in and out of town. I think I already mentioned funding. I did just last night read an article in the Virginia Municipal League magazine. Was startled to read it because it happens to represent the city where my daughter is the city manager, and she hadn't bothered to tell me about the program, but I think she really stole it from us. It was an article about a curb appeal program in the city of Hampton, where my daughter is the city manager, and it mentioned that they were initiating a program where they would provide matching funds, 50-50, up to $5,000 for individuals in select areas, target areas of their community, to improve their homes. If we had that kind of matching funding, we could do a lot in our gateway communities, particularly, I think, with rental properties, because I don't see us being very successful with landlords without some incentives that go beyond them supplying paint and our providing the volunteers. And remember that what we're doing in many respects is cosmetic, because there may be major challenges within the homes themselves. We are, in fact, in our communities addressing, through code enforcement, those things that the state code allows us to seek remediation of, but even that is not enough. Very recently, we adopted a new program that we call Adopt a Spot. And we have a number of those, not only on the corridor, but off the corridor, and people are actually calling and saying, I'd like to adopt a spot. And it is I guess, a version of Adopt a Highway, and we're encouraging people to look at even adopting a spot along a major road. We need an additional $300,000 just for the signage program alone in order to complete that. But I would say that in addition to looking at improving our gateways, we need to be looking at our broader community, to the homes that are sitting a block or 2 blocks away from the downtown corridors, because they can be equally attractive and bring people into our community. As a lifelong local government employee, I realize that the biggest challenge we all have is getting people to see us for the first time. If you can get them to come into our community, I think the community begins to sell itself, because we have some wonderful amenities. We have some challenges as well, but oftentimes people have not visited the Highlands, and so I think one of the things that all of us have to do is to find ways to bring more people into the community. John and I had the opportunity recently to have a realtor come into our community to look at some possible sites. He happened to be a friend of mine, and so I kind of strong-armed him, but he was pleasantly surprised with what he saw, and it was his first time in our community. So I would just challenge all of you to, over the next year, find someone who's never been to this community and invite them to come visit, and take the time to move them around in the community and let them see what we have. And I would also encourage each of you, who I know, because you're here, are already very, very busy, but we need volunteers in all of the activities that we are pursuing. Even as we sit later today and talk about additional challenges, those activities will need volunteers, and we particularly need the business community to get engaged and involved. because we want business, but people who bring businesses want places for their employees to live and enjoy their free time. And so we've got a lot of work to do. Anything else?
Darlene, I just want to thank you for your passion and your leadership that has never waned in all 6 years. Did you want to say a few words about
Just a
Covington?
couple things real quick, yeah. When the corridor curb appeal group first started, we were one group trying to deal with two communities. And we found out quickly that we needed to separate to a point that we focused on our own community. So there's a corridor curb appeal group in Clifton, there's one in Covington. Darlene and I work together to help coordinate some things that we do to keep us focused. Covington's Public Works and Parks and Recreation do a good job of keeping the public right of way in the city of Covington clean. They keep trash up, they keep it mowed, they keep plantings and flowers and different things going. In the downtown parts, what I wanted to touch on real quick, because we've got the Maple Street project, Maple Avenue project going on. We finished phase 1, which was the area from Tri-County furniture in that area to Locust Street. The next phase will start in about a month and a half probably, and it'll go from Locust to Main. That's in front of the Industrial Heritage and Technology Discovery Center. Got that?
You got it.
So we've got phase 2 going with the Maple Avenue project. We've got phase 3, the pre-construction money, the engineering money is already in place that'll take us all the way to the river. As much as that's going on, downtown Covington has 4 buildings that are being either remodeled or dried in. One needed a roof, he's working on that. So there's some things going on in the downtown Covington. One of the important things with downtown Covington is the direct tie to the trail. Because you can start on a sidewalk now and walk to Bath County, I guess, wherever the thing is. I'm not sure I would do that. But there's some things going on. The Old Town Diner's going to open up Friday. That's another restaurant in the downtown area. So some new businesses coming to Main Street, some growth happening there, and that's all positive.
Very good. Thank you very much.